to ask you about the Cooper Spin land matter.
Yeah.
As Minister of National Security, the police, well, the government was accused of sending police there to bulldoze people's homes at 3 a.m. in the morning. I want to ask you about well, not the operational side, because that's the purview of the police commissioner, but insofar as this government's policy towards people who occupy private land, and where the people who own the private land and who are armed with a court order need the support of the police to reclaim the land as directed by the court.
So we cannot argue with that. In fact, they tried to make a case out of my comment, which I had said on the public radio. I said to them clearly, I cannot indicate to you to stay on this property. The owners have a court order, and that holds government and everybody is subject to that court order. Everybody, including them. And the government and the owner has the right to seek the support of the police to take over the land. If they don't support them, it's also contempt of court. And as I said, I'm not going to go to court. I'm not going to be contemptuous of court and go to jail.
Yes.
Because this is and on a practical note, if I go to jail, I can't help you.
Yes.
If you move now and go to a point and you're in need of help, I will find you there and will help. That was my comment. And of course, there's a political gaming place, so I don't worry about that side. But that's what I said, and I'm saying publicly again. We have to obey the court orders. Government, all of Jamaica, is subject to the civil court. And therefore, those who are on the property and those of us who are representing them have to assist them to go. We cannot take on of moving them like that. They get moved on without our guidance. If they move to a spot where they're coming from and they need help, our social housing program will assist them in resettling.
Yeah. There's also the other argument, Dr. Chan, last one, that both political parties have over time favored different groups of people who've occupied private land because, of course, they want to garrisonize the area to shore up their political support. Is that fair, you believe, a characterization of the action of both political parties over time?
It's a shallow argument. The fact is we need a far more radical housing program. And over time, as the economy develops, you have had informal settlements evolving. And they evolve under both governments. I mean, Montego Bay had 21 informal settlements. My consensus was about 80% informal. And government acquired the properties, and we have been resettling them. We are formalizing them. Somebody complained that's supportive, but when we have somewhere in the Norwood community is like 8,000, and it's contiguous to Flanker. So the total number of informal housing there is over 12,000. Now, I'd like to see who would like me to take up 12,000 people and move them. It's ridiculous. It is not feasible. So we have acquired the property and we have set about a subdivision to approve them. It is very difficult. So we're not in the mood of retrofit, re-engineering informal settlement. It's very difficult. It's very costly, because the engineering, water supply, sewer supply, light, and you begin to cross boundaries. You get into all kind of problems. But it is happening, and what we have to do is look at our entire policy. So the Prime Minister announced a move to try and get 75,000 houses, and they should have special housing for tourism. But each informal settlement tends to become associated with the development. A lot of flanker evolved when the airport was being built. When we expanded the hotel industry back in, I think, more in the days of in the early 80s with Hugh Hart as Minister of Tourism, and we began to move up to the $1 million mark. Huge tracts of years around Montego Bay attracted tourism workers. Then you had the garment sector. It was big in Montego Bay initially, and they would also go and occupy land in Montego. They were coming from rural areas. Right now, some of the people in Trelawney are coming from Clarendon. So they go where work is, and we have to get a more systematic approach. And we're just looking at it, how we can get a systematic approach to provide housing solutions here to work. It's not a matter of, taking over people's land. I think Jamaica's land titling process is rational. It was done by our founding fathers, and they give security of tenure to, not the security of tenure, but, Jamaican titles are insured by government. So we have a responsibility And we now have to begin to look more carefully at how we provide housing for workers moving into areas when the economy begins to move.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of what we have to do. So Cooper Spain is not a good location for housing. We have a whole hotel strip across from it. So the very workers who may be sitting informally in Cooper Spain must realize they are posing a threat risk to their own livelihood. Because if the area becomes vulnerable, area vulnerable to violence and otherwise, then some of those hotels are going to close.
Ah.
That's just the they don't threaten, they just go along until they find it intolerable and they move because they are business people.
Yes.
And if it becomes a risk to their guests, they move. We have to now work with them to ensure we can provide workers within proximity without disturbing the peace in their environment.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge we face, and we are working on how we can get that done.
Hear you on that. Thank you
All
this
right.
morning for your time, sir. All the
No,
best to
George,
you.
thank you for having me, and all the best to you, George.
Yeah, man.
George, everything is fine?
Everything is fine, sir.
Wonderful, George. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Welcome. Dr. Horace Anthony Chang, the Minister of National Security and Peace. He's the Deputy Prime Minister and he's the Member of Parliament for Northwest St. James. After the break, your calls.